Another day, another Mandalorian.
Yeah, man. Another episode of Mandalorian. A former president was indicted for doing all kinds of weird stuff. Crazy day. Lots of news you can abuse. If you like the news you can abuse section, just you wait, because it's got a lot. There's a lot going on. It feels
Looking forward to that.
Hopefully everybody's going to look forward to something. I don't know. We'll see. Hey, real quick, and this is something I meant to talk about last week. Katie O'Brien, she plays in The Mandalorian. Her role is Ela Kane. She's
Elia Kane.
Yeah. You know, she was in Ant-Man Quantumania.
Yeah. She's the Gamora or whatever.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Didn't know that. She's like
she was the one that I confused for Michelle Rodriguez.
Yeah, she's a huge martial artist. So
really interesting. Mm-hmm.
She does a lot of martial arts, but we'll get to that.
She doesn't get to do any of that in The Mandalorian,
or will she?
Yeah.
Or will she? You never know. Okay. I think she probably will now. Anyway, are you ready for the episode summary?
I'm ready for it.
So I forget how it starts. Carl Weathers is like hanging out, trying to plan a city, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they're putting in some rapid transit too.
Yeah, I like it. No cars. Make it so there's no parking that make people have to walk. And, you know, so you say, all of a sudden pirates show up. Mateys. And they have to escape. And Carl Weathers is like, help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope. And he sends a message to a droid. And then a message gets to the Alliance, what's this called? The Republic? The New Republic?
The New Republic.
And they're like, we don't have any money. And also, they're not in our hood. They're not.
You're not a member state. Right.
Yeah, they're not, like, no new friends. Like, get out of here. So then our captain.
Hey, by the way, the Korean X-Wing fighter pilot. Do you recognize him from anything?
No.
He is the dad in Kim's Convenience, which is the TV show that Simu Liu was in before he became Shang-Chi.
No, wow, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's a good TV show. You should check it out sometime. Although I know you don't watch TV, so don't worry about it.
Probably won't.
So but anyway, listeners, check out Kim's Convenience. It's pretty good.
Yeah. So the owner of Kim's Convenience shows up to Mandalorian. He's on the Mandalorian. And
That's right.
He's like, hey, Mandy, like Carl Weathers needs your help. And Mandy's like, I don't know. But then like there's a cool thing when they have to like talk. He's talking to the Mandalorians and he's holding a hammer and he's trying to make his case. And just when you think that the big dude, what's his name? What's that guy's name? The big Mandalorian.
Paz Vizsla.
Yeah, when Paz Vizsla's like, hey, I don't want to do this. Paz Vizsla's like, hey, we should help him because we're Mandalorians. And also, we might get some land and get out of this dump. Mm-hmm. So they fly over to Navarro.
Yeah, I really like that speech. He had me going. And he turned it around at the perfect time.
I knew he would. I knew he would. But then they fly to Navarro, and there's an action kind of battle scene, but you can kind of tell they're not. The show's not completely committed to it. It's like we've seen some big battles before, and this just doesn't feel like a big one. The pirates, they're all wearing masks. There's no CGI really. There's some explosions, but there's no real crazy gunfights. There's some cool stuff with the ships, but even that whole thing does not take much time. Which is
they're not. For me. These Mandalorians need to do more training. They're not super good.
Well, it's just the show didn't really.
Like I was expecting them to come in and like kind of clean up, like an elite fighting force, but they're not an elite fighting force.
And the show didn't really want to do a big bang battle. You just didn't feel it. Like you can kind of tell that this was going to be we're going to come in, save you guys, and dip out. It didn't really feel like a big one. And
the armorer kind of takes out a gunner.
Yeah,
with her hammer and tongs.
Yeah, it's really good. That was really good.
Apparently, somebody on Mastodon told me that like fighting with hammer and tongs is like some kind of an English phrase, which means you're like really, really going at it hard. And she was literally doing that, so that was pretty cool.
That's neat. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Something for the Brits.
The Mandalorians win. Carl Weathers cedes a large section of land to the Mandalorians and say that you are welcome here. But then a couple different interesting story beats happen. So we get Bo-Katan, and she's summoned by the armorer, and the armorer tells her to take her helmet off, and the armorer says that's super weird
because now the armorer finally gets that Bo-Katan really saw a mythosaur after that weird conversation they had.
Yeah, and then the armorer is like, "You walk both worlds." And then like the armorer says to the rest of the Mandalorians that Bo-Katan is going to go out and get the rest of the Mandalorians and bring them back and kind of
unite Mandalore.
Yeah. But here's the thing, and I'm really becoming suspect of the armorer. There's a couple different reasons.
You think she's setting up Bo-Katan?
No, here's why. Here's what happens.
Okay.
Here's what happened. At the very end, and a transport, our guy, the captain, finds that a transport's been kind of hijacked or destroyed, and it turns out that Moff Gideon might have got released. Like he's in jail. He's going to jail, but his transport never made it. And it looks like maybe the Mandalorian or a Mandalorian might have been responsible.
Yeah, because they find a little shard of Beskar armor in the transport. And
also, one last thing, our girl, Elia, well, I assume she goes by female pronouns, I don't know. Our Elia Kane, she was in the office with Tim Meadows, by the way, which was awesome.
Yeah, that was cool.
He was trying not to be funny, but even him trying not to be funny was funny.
Yeah.
But she was there being real sus.
Yeah, how does she know that the captain was coming in there to talk about something that she's interested in? Well, like, does she just always pop into that dude's office anytime anybody's talking to him?
Here's the deal. Here's the deal. Are you ready for the deal?
I'm ready for the deal.
Either this show has already shown that it will show one thing to us, but then we get another thing. And for example, the speech from Paz
Vizsla. Like, okay.
Yeah, he's like, hey, we shouldn't do this, but hey, we should because we are, Mandalorians. And like, I kind of feel like the easy thing for this show to do, the thing that we predict would be that Elia Kane is a part of this empire rising and that Moff Gideon has been released and that the Empire is going to come back. We did see the Empire
certainly seems that way. Seems like she's infiltrated the New Republic and is kind of like a spy for Moff Gideon.
But that's what the show wants us to see. Like we have, okay, if you think about it, the armorer, for example, right?
Yeah.
Like someone attacked Bo-Katan's place. We assume it's the Empire, but we don't know that for sure.
Well, I mean, there were definitely flying Empire vessels, and they had a lot. They had a lot of them. Yeah,
but we don't know that. We don't. We know it's the Empire's vessels, and we know it's Empire troops. But I think that everybody.
You think the armorer maybe was behind that?
We need to be very careful because I want the listeners to understand that when I watch a TV show, I look at it from a storytelling perspective.
We've got 3 more episodes to go.
Yeah, and I'm trying to figure out where the show's going to go and how it's going to angle. And the armorer is the most interesting character, but I can see her becoming something more nefarious and something that we got to deal with because it's the last person we would expect. And it would be very interesting from a storytelling beat for the armorer to become villainous in some way and for Bo-Katan to be kind of setting up for something. So I want everybody to kind of get that in your head that maybe the armorer is not, like this is not a straightforward narrative of the armorer being a good person. It could be that she's got some other plans and it might be, something interesting. So we just got to wait and see.
I mean, it did certainly seem odd to me that the armorer was like, all of a sudden, hey, take your helmet off. Seems like that lowers Bo-Katan's standing with the other Mandalorians.
But not only that, it feels like, hey, this is a religious creed why would the armor is just like making Bo-Katan do that because it's more convenient. Like it'd be easy for her to unite the clans of the Mandalore if she doesn't have her helmet. So it's like all of a sudden we're taking like liberties with the Creed, and it feels like
why wouldn't she just say, "Hey, when you leave here, you can take your helmet off"? You know.
Well, why wouldn't she say, "Hey, you can't take your helmet off because it's against our religion, but you can still go out and try to unite the factions"? So. I think people need to be very. I mean, I don't mind seeing Starbuck again. Her face is great, but there's something going on with this, and I really want us to be very careful. The armor, if I'm looking at this show, I'm looking at the armor.
So you're thinking potentially the armorer is sus, and Elia Kane, who seems like she's still on the side of the Empire, is actually misunderstood.
Yeah, I'm saying that. That could be true. Yeah,
okay. I mean, there are 3 episodes to go.
That's a lot.
Yeah, there's definitely room for some twists and turns in there.
Yeah, it's a lot.
Because otherwise, like if we're straightforward about it, and Starbuck, what's her name?
Starbuck.
Bo-Katan's going to go out and
Kate Skyhoff.
Walk both sides and reunite the Mandalorians. That seems like something that doesn't need 3 episodes to happen.
It feels like we could have 1 episode when the Mandalorians are reunited.
Yeah,
1 episode
max 2. Yeah,
one episode when the betrayal happens or the revelation of what the big bad is, and in our last episode. And I also think just what you're talking about, Mike. I can see this being a cliffhanger at the end where we don't get resolution and it falls down into the next season.
Oh, that would be the worst.
You got 3 episodes to try to clean this up. Like
we gotta have some kind of resolution.
Nah, I think the resolution is going to be that we got some big stuff coming up next season. 100%.
I mean, they've always had a cliffhanger, but they've also, it's not a complete cliffhanger. At the end of the previous seasons, it's kind of resolved some stuff, but left other things open.
There's nothing wrong with a cliffhanger. That's a guaranteed you're going to watch next season. There's nothing wrong with a cliffhanger. Is a tried and true. That's straight from Star Trek: The Next Generation, buddy. That works every time.
Charles Dickens, right? Wasn't he where cliffhangers came from?
I guess.
Didn't he literally, or was it somebody else? Edgar Allan Poe?
I don't know.
Some author. I don't know. I figured you would know.
I don't know that. I don't know. I'm not as smart as I make it out to be. Thoughts, Mike? What are your thoughts of the episode?
I really liked it a lot. It definitely seemed like it made use of the time better. Like I wasn't sitting there unentertained. There's always something going on, something to keep my attention. I was on pins and needles when Captain Carson Teva, I like that his last name's Teva, like the sandals. I was on pins and needles when he was at that Imperial transport. Like I kept waiting for him to get attacked by somebody.
I thought he was going to die for sure.
Yeah, I was like, no, don't let anything bad happen to him.
Yeah, I like him too.
Yeah.
You know what I find really interesting? We're really getting to see a lot of the behind the scenes of the Republic and Star Wars stuff. Like I'm really enjoying this bureaucratic side of Star Wars because you just don't get to see it much. And I like the idea that
you can't
just get into no, it's not AT-AT. It's a
X-wing.
Yeah, you can't just get into an X-wing and you can't just fly off
and disobey orders.
And before you say, I know I need to watch Andor.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yes.
All right, I haven't done it yet.
Since you like all of that, you would definitely like Andor.
I'm busy.
Okay.
I got stuff going on all the time.
All right.
I'm over here moving things and working on stuff constantly.
Put it on your list.
Okay. Yeah. If the next time I get sick, I'll watch Andor.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah, I enjoyed it too. I'm really starting to enjoy watching these episodes, and I'm liking it. I'm also really nervous about what's going on. But I will tell you this: the Mandalorians in this episode looked cooler than they usually do.
Why is that?
I don't know, but they look cool. Like there was a couple of them.
Maybe it's because they were just moving around and they weren't like standing still.
There were some cool helmets. I think I saw some Mandalorian fashion. I saw a little fashion.
I mean, Bo-Katan's helmet's pretty cool.
Yeah, but no one looks cooler. Yeah, no one looks cooler than Din Djarin. Nobody looks cooler than Din Djarin.
The second T is silent.
Din Djarin. Nobody looks cooler than Din Djarin, and I think that's fine. He should look cool, but it should be somebody who looks almost as cool.
Someone on the internet's reminded me that if you look at Din Djarin, look at one of his legs. One of them has normal Mandalorian Beskar on it, and one of them has a piece of Stormtrooper armor on it.
I gotta check that out.
Because his whole setup's like it's makeshift, right? Like we saw him building out his armor in season 1. And I wonder. I hope this never happens. But I wonder if at some point he's gonna get some paint.
No,
I don't want it to happen. It should not happen.
No, they make too many toys and he's too marketable to put paint on there.
Right. He doesn't even paint his ship. His ship isn't even painted.
No. So yeah, a good episode. I think it's interesting where the story is going. I'm curious to see where we go next. I'm on pins and needles.
Yeah, it's interesting. You bringing up the whole Elia Kane and the armor. That's interesting.
Just be careful. Yeah, just be careful.
Who do you think? Do you think that? So there's Beskar instead of that Imperial transport. I was wondering if maybe the Mandalorians that broke off from Bo-Katan had for some reason decided that they wanted Moff Gideon, and so they break him out. But maybe you're thinking the armor is somehow behind it.
I think that Moff Gideon is dead. We're not going to see him. I think the armorer had some Mandalorians go get him and kill him, and I think that the armorer is using and controlling the remnants of the Empire for her own gain.
Interesting. Yeah, I was wondering if that was a plant, the Beskar armor.
I don't think it's a plant. I think it's a real thing. It could be a plant. It could be a plant. It could be a plant.
Yeah.
It could be a plant. That'd be interesting. Make the Republic kind of look at the Mandalorians.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of possibilities. There's a lot of things going on here. Lots going on. Anyway, that is what's the name of the episode?
The Pirate.
Yeah, I call it.
Most of these episodes have a double meaning. Who else could be the pirate? Obviously, the pirate is the pirate.
Not this time.
Could be.
Can I talk about the racism of Star Wars?
Could be.
Can we talk about
the
Star Wars
armorer
racism?
could be the pirate based on your thinking.
Can we talk about Star Wars racism real quick?
Sure.
All the pirates.
I didn't notice any in here.
All the pirates were ugly aliens. What's going on?
That's not racism. That's
it is
attractivism.
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's like if you're an ugly alien, you have to be a pirate. There were no normal looking pirates. They all were ugly, and I think that's wrong.
I mean, you think they're ugly, but
I think that these pirates
maybe they're very attractive for their race.
I think these pirates were systematically marginalized throughout history, and now they had nowhere else to go become pirates. And then all of a sudden they get blown up and killed.
The pirate captain does look like he's seaweed.
Yeah, but so what? You can look like you're seaweed and still deserve to have a life. Now, I think that he was wrong with what he did, but death, killing him off, it's a little bit too much.
I mean, you got to defend yourself.
I don't know. I wish that they humanized the pirates just a little bit more.
Well, I like how that one pirate's like, "Hey, I'm your last fighter ship out here.
Yeah,
I'm not going on a suicide mission. I'll see you later."
Yeah, I would have done the same thing. I would have left as soon as I saw the Mandalorian show. But I would have known where this was going. When I go win this one.
Yeah,
that's it. It's it. You got anything else? Because we have a ton of news you can abuse. We got more to talk about than we probably. This will be longer than the actual episode.
Nothing else. Just looking at IMDb. Really, I see that Dave Filoni apparently had a cameo as one of the guys at the X-wing Y-wing base. Trapper Wolf is the character name.
Was that the big dude that was talking?
No, I'm trying to figure out who that was. I can't figure out. I think maybe that's credited as Zeb on IMDb, which was Steve Bloom. Not real sure who that is.
I would love to see more of him.
Yeah, he was pretty cool. And then Deborah Chow, who has directed some episodes previously, she got a cameo as Sash Ketter. And so this is the director cameo episode, because also Rick Famuyiwa, I'm sure I'm mispronouncing his last name, but he also had a cameo as Jim Dodger.
Cool.
So that's like three directors or behind the scenes people getting cameos in this one episode.
I mean, I think the cast is great, right? And I think the show. I think the show in general would be. If you had a kid, you could watch The Mandalorian, no problem. I think it's a great show.
It's really good.
Seasons. It's been fun to watch them.
Yep.
All right.
Doesn't really go overboard with violence or anything like that, so it's not bad.
You just see people get hit by hammers. I think that's fine. All right. News you can abuse. There's a bunch of news, guys, and I'm going to try to work on this as best I can.
All right.
What's up? We've talked about this at length about budget cuts and problems at Disney. Disney is cutting 7,000 jobs. This isn't. I'm not talking about like small jobs, guys. These cuts are huge. We're talking. I want to kind of lay out how big these job cuts are as far as the importance of them. Give me a second.
Okay.
So let's see real fast here. To make us.
I know that one of the jobs that got cut was Ike Perlmutter.
Yep.
Who is the reason that we never got a timely Black Widow movie.
Yep. And these jobs are also being cut in ESPN are being cut. Disney also owns ABC, so that's jobs getting cut.
Right.
And that's why you're like when Marvel says that
is this 7,000? Is this including like ESPN and ABC, or is
it's
it
across the board? So
across the board. Okay.
But these are big name jobs. Like these are big CEOs or vice presidents and stuff. They're trying to cut the fat all over.
Well, hey, at least they're not just cutting, the individual workers. That's good.
Yeah, but these people that they're cutting are in charge of big projects. So they're gone, so that's going to be a big part of it. And one of the things that I want people to understand about these job cuts too is that's the reason why when Marvel says it's quality over quantity, they're trying to make these shows better and not have so many. That's not true. It is a job. They're cutting the fat. They're cutting, and the cuts are because they want to make more money. They're trying to cut at least $5 billion in like costs. And that $5 billion are new projects, movies, shows. So like they're cutting people that work there, but also cutting these projects because they want to make more money. Like
that's interesting.
The big chairman of the boards and the big wigs, they want to make more money for themselves. And so they just cut. And so that's why you're not getting the shows you want.
So Disney's doing that. They're trying to cut $5 billion out of their
5.5 billion, yeah.
Meanwhile, Apple is putting up $1 billion for movies next year or this year.
Well, Apple might be seeing what's going on. And Apple might see a prime opportunity to fill in some gaps.
Right. Right.
I think this is a huge mistake on Disney's part. The model has worked. Like the model has worked for this long. Cutting it just seems odd, but no one called me at Disney and asked me what I thought.
I mean, no hate over them getting rid of Ike Perlmutter, though.
No, but there's gonna be some, like this whole thing is gonna sting. Like it's the reason why you're not getting the stuff that you like from Disney is because there's these job cuts. Next up, and this is a nasty story. This is just bad.
Yeah.
Jonathan Majors, Kang the Conqueror, was arrested last week on domestic assault charges. Now, before we get into it, let's be clear. One, we don't know. You're innocent before proven guilty in the United States. Two, we don't automatically, as soon as it happens, Jonathan Major and his agent, his people around him said that this isn't true. You don't have all the information. Three, just a few hours ago, the lawyer for Jonathan Majors said that there was a text message that he showed that said that the woman actually said that she wasn't assaulted, which is highly suspect. Whatever's happening is not good, and it's not good for society. It's not good for us as human beings. It's not good for Jonathan Majors, and it's especially not good that way down the list of all that stuff is not good for us and Kang and Marvel.
Yeah, some people that are apparently in the same kind of acting circles as Jonathan Majors in the New York area have said that they saw this coming. So that doesn't sound good to me. I really hope that it's not true. Jonathan Majors is an incredible actor, and he's like super charismatic. But
there's nothing worse. There's nothing worse than liking someone and realizing they're a bad person.
Yeah, realizing they're a bad person. Exactly. Yep.
It's like it's almost like you saw the Sega Genesis under your mom's bed, and then when you wake up, it's a Nintendo 64. You're like, I didn't want this.
No, I mean that's nothing like this at all. It'd be like you saw a Sega Genesis and then realized that it was like beating your dog.
That's true.
Yeah,
this is terrible, and I just hate the fact that it's a domestic violence, like just. Like domestic violence in general is just a sickness.
That's not
society.
Good, right? Yeah.
So it's just nasty. And the Army, like Jonathan Majors did some commercials for the Army that I thought were very persuasive. They pulled them. Those commercials were not cheap, and the Army was like, "Pull them off." He's like, "We're not going to show them."
Mm-hmm.
And if Jonathan Majors finds out, if Disney figures out or finds out that this stuff is true, or Jonathan Majors has a suspect history, Kang's gone, and I don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah, I mean, they could easily recast. There's that blue mask there. They could always use that.
Yeah.
Or they could use it as an opportunity to say, hey, we're going to cut this storyline.
Yeah.
And we're just going to go straight to Secret Wars.
Like if you work for Disney's like movie department, if you work on
you just got to figure out a clean way to get to say, because we saw the Council of Kangs, you just got to find a clean way to like cut that storyline off. I guess they could just say, "Hey, we did it."
It's just a mess. It's an absolute mess, and I hate it.
Right.
All right. So next up, let's talk about some good news. So next up, Captain America 4 is looking more and more like a Hulk movie. So apparently,
what does that mean?
It means that there's going to be a lot of Hulk storyline assets in the movie. That's what it means. Okay. So Tim Blake Nelson, do you remember him from The Incredible Hulk?
Yeah, he's the guy that we think turned into the leader.
Yes, so there's a picture of him on set. There's also a picture.
He was Mr. Blue or Mr. Green in the Hulk movie. Yeah.
Yeah. There's also a picture of Harrison Ford on the set. There's also like Liz Tyler, who played Betty Ross, is going to be in the movie. Like this is incredible.
Yeah, so that'll be Harrison Ford's character's daughter.
Have we heard of the Hulk being in this movie? Is he in this?
I haven't heard of that, but I mean, it seems like he should be.
Yeah, I'm curious to see how this goes.
You got a lot of Hulk people.
I really like the fact that it's our boy Sam Wilson, Captain America, who has no powers. He just has a suit and a shield, and I like him having to go toe to toe with these Hulk people because it's like
would he be up against them or would they be working together?
The leader's a bad guy. Period. So
no, together. I'm saying the Hulk.
The Hulk would be a good guy, but okay. I don't want him in this movie.
You don't want him in it.
No, I want.
Well, it's definitely not a Hulk movie if Hulk isn't in
it. Well, okay, that's maybe. There could be a Hulk in it.
So I think like the subtext here is that people are thinking that since they can't technically make a Hulk movie for like legal reasons, apparently, they're gonna try to make a Hulk movie under the Captain America banner.
I think that it's just let's just see how the story plays out. I think they have an interesting story, so let's just see.
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time that a Captain America movie has actually been another movie instead.
That's true.
Yeah.
And for the better in some ways. Last but not least, Mike, you might want to read this whole thing. There's an interesting article about how Marvel directs these movies and how the directors don't do anything. I want to read a quote, and this is from it's from the direct. It's an article It's written by John Ross Bedford, and I want to read a quote here. And
Please.
This is something. So let me read it here. Okay. The reporter then claimed Marvel intentionally seeks out directors lacking experience in the visuals department. Lee stated that the company systematically harvests directors from the Sundance Film Festival, pointing out that these cheapo films largely do not involve heavy work with the visual effects. And there's a quote. The guy says, whereas Marvel systematically, they harvest directors from the Sundance Film Festival. Somebody who has directed some cheapo movie that got a lot of buzz, that has a lot of heart, a lot of originality, and then they suddenly prop them up with a nine-figure budget for the first time. And they go on to say, they talk about Chloe Zhao, she directed The Eternals, Ryan Coogler, Taika Waititi. It's pretty.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah, it's almost like the directors.
All of those, like all of the ones that you named, plus James Gunn. I think the only one that had any kind of experience with an action movie before was James Gunn.
Yeah. So I mean, like here's what I'm thinking, Mike. Are you ready?
I mean, Taika Waititi did effects, but they were like BBC Doctor Who style effects.
Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
It's time for Marvel to clean the Marvel Cinematic Universe house up. It's time. It's just time. Clean it up.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you have to do. Because it's just like a lot of this leaked stories about the directing, Jonathan Majors, the budget cuts, and just like all the shows getting canceled, the movies getting delayed. Meanwhile, and this is me saying it right now, the Flash movie, when it comes out, is going to be a monster hit, and it's going to be extremely successful, and DC is going to eat Marvel's lunch. I will
you think so?
That out. Yes. That movie is going to be
It's basically Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness combined with Spider-Man No Way Home.
Two great movies in one small package. That movie's going to be incredible. There's no way that movie cannot be good. And so Marvel's going to have to figure out some stuff.
I mean, it seemed like I've heard lots of really great things about that movie, but it's just weird. Like its development was not smooth at all. It went through a lot.
No, it's not. But wait, just you wait. Like it's I don't want to say this out loud completely, but I will say this: Marvel better be careful because it could be the pendulum swings in both ways. DC had a lot of rough times, but DC could just come roaring back, and that might be good.
And it looks like it sounds like DC's going to get off on the right foot because James Gunn is writing and now directing. Like you said when he took over, I was like, "What would you do first?" And you're like, "Superman." They got to do Superman. They got to do Superman right. It sounds like that's going to happen.
Yep. So, I mean, in some ways, Marvel showed Taika Waititi and everybody else what to do, and now they're just going to do it.
You keep getting Taika Waititi and James Gunn confused.
James Gunn, Taika Waititi. You know what I mean? Taika Gunn, Waititi Gunn,
right?
Waititi James Waititi. Anyway, that's the news you can abuse. Lots of news, very interesting. If you want to discuss this at length, I'm on Mastodon. Our information is in the show notes. Hit me up. Send me a message. I will totally hit you back up.
Yeah, we will. Jarvis, how can people share this with their friends, and how can they help our podcast like show up better in whatever app they're using to listen to it?
Get a link for our show, get a QR code printed out on a piece of paper, buy a carrier pigeon, and tape the QR code onto a carrier pigeon's leg, and then release it into the wild, and it will find its way to its destination magically. Just like that show. What was that show called?
Game of Thrones?
Yeah, they did that all the time. It worked, I guess.
Yeah, it worked.
I guess so.
Okay, that's the best way to do it?
No, you can hit the share function on your phone. You can email your friends and family. You can like this a lot. You can post it on Mastodon. You can post it on Twitter if you want to, but I'm hearing rumors that it's going to cost you money to use it now, which is like, okay, go ahead. I'm not doing it. But yeah, there's lots of different ways to share it. Share it on your good social media platforms. Not the bad ones. There's only 2 or 3 good ones. You can TikTok it. That'd be fun until it gets banned.
Yeah.
We
write a review. Write a review. Doesn't have to be a whole big review. It could just be like a 2 or 3 sentences.
Yeah, just post it, send it off to people. Like, do what you gotta do. We're going to do all of the Mandalorian, and then I think we're going to do the X-Men, which I'm super stoked about.
Yeah, that's definitely coming up next.
Yeah, be
definitely. That'll be good.
And then we could do Andor if I ever get my act together, which I doubt.
Yeah, and Andor right after X-Men. That's a good idea.
And at some point, a new Marvel property will come out.
Right. Yeah, that's what in May.
What is it? Oh no, it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
It's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3.
It's coming out so soon. Oh my gosh, I gotta go see that movie.
Yeah, 2 months from now.
Oh my. Okay, I'll go watch it.
Anyway. Dude, it's gonna be a banger. I think it's gonna be really good.
I don't think so.
I
don't think so.
I've got faith.
I'll see. Anyway, we'll see you guys next week, right, Mike?
Yeah, more Mandalorian next week.